On Sunday, November 16th, 2025, the Wellesley Village Church celebrated the first Sunday services in our building heated by geothermal energy. This is a milestone for us after 10 years of contemplating, researching, developing, and deploying this project. We invited two speakers from outside our congregation to address us with their perspectives on the project. The first, Robert During, is the CEO of GreenerU, our prime contractor. And the second, Marybeth Martello, the sustainability director of the city of Wellesley. We feel these perspectives were right on the mark, and we want to share them not only with our congregation, but with anyone that's interested in taking on a project of this scope. So without further ado, let's hear what they said on our Sunday service.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be with you this morning. I've spent a lot of time in this church over the last couple of years, but it's really special to be invited to be here with you this morning. For those of you I haven't had a chance to meet, I'm Rob Durning, and I have the privilege of serving as CEO of GreenerU. In our company, we hold a simple conviction that community institutions, places like this, can lead the world in mitigating the effects of climate change. And our mission is to help them do that. And we try to do that thoughtfully, with integrity, and with hope. And I have to say, this project is one of the finest examples of meeting that vision in the 16 years that we've been a company. When we began this journey, we laid out a number of options for the church to help reduce your carbon emissions. Any one of them would have made a meaningful difference. But what struck me was that it wasn't about the engineering or the spreadsheets or the models. It was about how you came together to make a decision. You were patient, you were transparent, you asked honest questions with open hearts. And it was a congregation that discerned together, not rushing, not looking for shortcuts, but asking, what can we do that reflects our values? What is going to make the most difference? What will serve this community long after we're gone? And I think that's really rare. I've worked with dozens of institutions, and what you have here is very powerful. Over the past year, many of the institutions that we work with, many of the institutions that have carried the banner traditionally on climate, have quietly stepped back from commitments that they once spoke of with great confidence. They delayed plans, they shifted their priorities, and in moments like that, the groups who look to them can lose hope and wonder whether you can actually still make a difference, whether progress can still be made. In that vacuum and at this time, what you've done here matters even more. You have this church, it's rooted in faith, it's rooted in service. You care very little about how it's heated. You just want a warm church when you come in, but you still took that effort to make sure that you were doing it the right way. And as a community, you said, we're going to lead. We're going to care for creation. We're going to think about the world our children will inherit. And I think that's the way it's been throughout history. You know, it's so often communities like this, houses of worship, neighborhood groups, volunteers, who have stepped in when others have stepped back or paused, and you filled the space when leadership went quiet. And that gives me hope. So as much as we try to bring hope and transparency and impact to our customers, you've delivered that hope back to me. And I'll just say, you know, one other important thing, you've taken the step, you've made the commitment, we've installed the system. The thing that you're doing now, you're sharing your story. Mark's YouTube videos, publishing the journey you went on. You are holding the door open for that next congregation, that next nonprofit who's struggling with the same questions that you were struggling with 2 years ago. And that's just as important, to continue that story and to continue that message. So this has been a very inspiring project for me, something I get excited about waking up every morning. I want to thank Reverend Sarah, moderators Candace and Joe before him. We've been working together so long now. And for Mark and Kathy especially, you've championed this idea and really led it from the beginning, and it wouldn't have happened without you two. So thank you for your trust. It's been a pleasure working with you. It's been a challenging year to get this system online, but I appreciate your commitment and your trust in us as a group, as GreenerU, and for setting an example when an example is really needed at this time. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Butter, for inviting me to join you today and reflect on the Village Church's thrilling geothermal project. As Sustainability Director for the Town of Wellesley, I work with municipal departments, stakeholders throughout our community, and people in regional and state agencies to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. And I'd like to briefly point out just 3 of the many ways your accomplishment contributes to climate action in Wellesley and beyond. First, you are significantly advancing progress toward a goal set by town meeting of net zero emissions by 2050. In a town where buildings account for over 60% of our emissions, your geothermal project matters. It shows that even older historic buildings can evolve to meet the challenges of the climate crisis while preserving their character and their purpose. By reducing the Village Church's emissions by an impressive 75%, you carried out foundational actions to our climate action plan in town. You minimized energy use through energy efficiency measures and by choosing the most efficient option for space heating and cooling. You also transitioned to electricity, which is moving to net zero as greener and greener power sources feed the grid. And you also, in doing that, of course, lowered your emissions with help from your solar panels, exercised fiscal responsibility, and created healthier indoor environments in your facility. Second, you possess the attributes of what I call a climate action community. Through the Geothermal Project, this congregation had the imagination and vision to see beyond the conventional energy technologies that are familiar to most of us. You exhibited faith and courage in stepping into the lesser known. Your decisions you made extended beyond your individual selves and beyond your own congregation to honor responsibilities to our broader community, humankind, the earth, and future generations. You built consensus and worked together, and your generosity was evident in your talents, your time, and your resources. I'm a huge fan of Mark's videos and Kathy's starring role in those. Third, the Village Church is a beacon. Here at the heart of Wellesley, the Village Church's steeple, accompanied for some time by drilling rigs, rose high and rises high above our New England townscape, shining a guiding light. The Village Church congregation exemplifies the kind of community we need across Wellesley, the Commonwealth, and indeed the world, whether in households, institutions, corporations, or legislatures. Research tells us that social norms are the most effective way to inspire climate action. People try public transit, take to biking, buy an electric vehicle, or install solar panels when their friends and family do. The Village Church is a friend and neighbor to the wider Wellesley community. Thank you for doing so much to influence Wellesley's social norms and to set an example that I'm confident will empower many more in our town and beyond to follow in your footsteps. Thank you.